Good morning, Unity Bay Area, Houston. I am so glad to be here, and I'm glad that you're here today. I'm glad you showed up. So let's start a few jokes about showing up. Why did the computer show up late for work? Because he had a hard drive. Why did the policeman show up at the baseball game? Because he heard someone was stealing bases. And some of you know my husband. I don't know if you know this, but on one of our first dates, he asked me to go to the gym. And when I got there, he showed up. You know what? I knew we were going to work out. Showing up. Why did you show up here today? Well, I have a few things I might think of why you showed up. One of them might be I asked you. One of them might be you wanted to hear these fantastic jokes. Or you may have wanted to learn something from the talk that I'm going to be giving. And it's probably a combination of all three things, isn't it? Yet at the foundation of why you showed up here today, I think there is a learning about how to show up in this earthly form as the best expression of who we are, of what I call at Unity, your divine self. Your divine self, your spark of divinity that is in each one of us. That's why I think you and I often come to the spiritual center, to learn how to express that divine self. And I know someone that did that. And I hate to admit it, but it wasn't me. As Joe will attest, sometimes I don't show up as my divine self. Yet I do know someone that did. And that was Jesus, our way shower. Jesus showed up here in this human form as the divine. And we often study Jesus and his divinity. Yet today, I want to take a look at studying Jesus and his humanness. Most historians think that Jesus was born in Nazareth, and that actually he was probably about 5'5", and he came from the Middle East. Now here's a drawing of Jesus that I grew up with, and I find it very comforting growing up as a child. It was blue-eyed, and his eyes would follow me, and I love that Jesus. Yet, we probably all know Jesus was not Caucasian, and he was not blue-eyed. And yet, because he was from the Middle East. So here's another rendition of Jesus that might be possibly a little more accurate. And this is a rendition of Jesus, and it's from the work of Richard Naive and his research team. And they were forensic facial reconstruction researchers. And what they did was they took the skulls of skulls from that time period and in the area that Jesus was born. And then they put clay, and then they put simulated skin around it. And this is the facial characteristics of what we could maybe think of as Jesus, a Middle Eastern 5'5" man. That's one rendition. Here's another rendition of a Dutch research person named Bass. I don't even know how to say his last name. We'll just call him Bass. And what Bass did was he took statues and icons and drawings from that time period. And then he took all of the information they had of Middle Eastern men of that time period, and he put it into a program, an artificial intelligence program. And this is the rendition of Jesus that we sort of can identify with more. And then I want to show you my last rendition of Jesus that I like. And this is a work of Willis Wheatley, a Canadian, who we call the Laughing Jesus, because Jesus had a lot of joy. So this is my favorite. And Willis never really got a lot of recognition, so let's give Willis a hand for drawing Jesus out laughing. Yes. Jesus. Yes. So why are we studying Jesus and the human part of him? Why are we looking at this? Because I believe that the more we can look at Jesus and his humanness, the more he can become our way shower. Because we are human, aren't we? We're divine, but we're human. And from John 14:12, we hear this. We can claim and do the same works as Jesus, and even more. I can't say right now that I can do greater works than Jesus. And I can't do all of the works of Jesus. Yet I do know I can do some of the works of Jesus. Because one of the things that Jesus did was he served and he loved. Jesus was always serving other people, and he was always showing his love for other people. So I do know that I can serve and I can love. And when I do serve and love, I am expressing the divine spark in me. Now, interesting enough, I have a hard time with the word serve. And I would like you to substitute a different word for that. And that word is calling. Calling. And I want to give you the definition of what a calling is. I get this from Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty. Your calling is where what you do brings you great gladness and the world's hunger meets. Your calling is where what you do brings you great gladness and the world's hunger meets. Now, let me rephrase that. Your calling is where what you love to do, you do it, and the world loves that you're doing it. If you love to golf, and nobody really cares what your score is except for you, that's probably not your calling. I would call that a hobby. Although, you can take your love of golf and think, how can I help serve the world and enjoy myself? How can I take this art of golf and still serve? And we have many people that do just that. They take and they show up with their gifts and their talents, and they serve the world. I know a lot of you on the board of Unity Bay Area, Houston. I think I know everyone actually. And you guys take your individual talents and gifts, and you have helped develop this spiritual community, A lot of you take your gifts and your talents of making the ground so much better. And I know a group of you that have taken your talent of just serving, of helping others, and gone out to Unity of Brazosport, an hour and 10 minutes away, to mop and sweep and paint, just because they needed your help. How many of you are here? Yeah. So you have taken your individual talents in whatever manner, and you've helped serve the world. You've helped. Now, sometimes though, we're stopped in our calling. And one of the biggest reasons I feel that we get stopped in moving forward in whatever is drawing us is what I call consciousness, collective consciousness, conditioning, collective consciousness and conditioning. And that area is in how we see time and aging. Because we have the media telling us what an old person should look like. Oh, an old person shouldn't be able to do this. And an old person shouldn't really be having sex. I just saw that the other day. And we can allow media and others to define how we are going to age and accept that status quo. Or we can have another mindset. We can have the mindset of Robert Kennedy. Well, I love this quote. He said, there are those that look at the things the way they are and ask, why? I dream of things that never were and ask, why not? So where is your dream? Where is your dream to bring more peace? Where is your dream to bring more joy? Where is your dream to bring more love? I want to tell you a story. Well, actually, I want you to picture this. There's a gentleman. He is sitting at a makeshift type desk. The curtains are sort of drawn, it's sort of dark, a little musty, the bed's unmade. He's just sort of hunched over at this desk. And I walk in. It's an assisted living room. It's very, very small. What do you think this man's demeanor is like? Sad maybe? Lonely. So I walk in, and this man is as happy and bright and energetic as any person I could have met. And he comes and he asks me to sit down with him, and he starts telling me, oh my gosh, I'm so busy, I've got to get all this stuff cleared up, we're moving into another room, and just happy. And he has some pictures on the wall. And one of those pictures is of his wife, who's deceased. And he starts telling me about her and how much they loved each other and how she was a firecracker at times. And then he has another picture of a gentleman. And it's a gentleman about his same age. Now, John is in his mid-90s. And this person is actually, probably looks like he's around 70 or 80. And he's Hispanic. And so I asked John, who is that? And he tells me, oh, that is my best friend. We have been best friends since I was in my early 20s. I'm like, oh, well, how did you guys meet? And he tells me, oh, we met at our church. I used to go out years and years ago, and I would help with the homeless people that were there. And that's how me and John met. He was one of the homeless that came in. And me and John just got to become best friends. He ended up living with me and my wife for a little bit. And I just have always loved him, and I miss him so much. And I thought, what a great story. What a great story. And then I asked John, what are you doing nowadays? And he starts telling me, oh yeah, every Wednesday I go to a church downtown and I help feed the homeless. And I'm like, this guy is pretty cool. Mid-90s, has a few maybe physical problems, but he's still out there working with the homeless. And then I look up and I see on his wall is also a frame. And in that frame is an award. And in that award is for chess. John was a very good chess player, almost professional, and he loved playing chess. And so John continues to tell me the story about working and helping serve the homeless. And then you know what he does after that? He plays chess with them. So he is doing something he loves, and others love what he's doing. So, what is your calling? How many of you know your calling? If you don't know your calling and you want me to come do some one-on-one work with you, I would love to. Just reach out to me. And if you do know your calling, that is great. That is great. Because wherever we show up and we help and we make the world a different place and we make others a different place, we are expressing the divine of who we are. We are growing our spirituality. We are bringing love into the world. And so, right now, here and now, say to yourself, if you don't know it, I am going to figure out what I love to do, and I am going to take that and show others, share that gift with others. Whether it's that you grow a garden, whether it's that you love to cook for others, whether it's that you're great at building community and networking, whatever that gift is, take your calling. Show up with it. This life is not a dress rehearsal. So live it. As Nike says, just do it. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for having me. Namaste.